Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mercy Art. As usual, you can hear from my tone the mood is amazing. Reason being, the weather is fantastic. It's quite warm. So I'm at a place called Slussen. That is the entry part to the subway of the train station called Slussen. Now, this is the first time I'm here. It's actually on the southern part of Stockholm. Most of the videos I've showcased are mostly on the upper side of Stockholm, and more so the Gamla Stan, that's the old town area. Now the question is, how does Stockholm, Sweden look like during summer? The reason why I'm saying summer, we just entered the season, that is the beginning part of June. I know in other parts of Sweden, some areas are probably experiencing spring, but then right here in Stockholm, I can comfortably say that we are right in summer, because today the temperatures were 20 degrees, and I think that's really warm considering the fact that we just came from winter experiencing negative 8 degrees, negative 10 degrees, which was really awful. Anyway, let's take a walk, and I want to just see how does Stockholm look like during summertime. How is the vibe? How is the mood? And as you can see, everyone is just chilling, relaxing, enjoying their time. And you'll realize also most of the restaurants also have some terraces, a section whereby they can just put some tables and chairs outside so that the customers can basically enjoy the nice sun that is actually oozing all the vitamin D. Now, probably you may wonder, okay, why is she not talking about the streets? The reason is I have no clue which street this is. Well, I forgot to read that. But in the meantime, it's called Peter Mayand's book, something like that. I don't know whether that's the name of the building or the street. I have no clue. In case you're from Sweden, kindly just type on the comments section. But first things first, as I told you earlier on, as a newcomer in Sweden, well, am I really a newcomer? I've been here for now 1 year. I'm almost clocking 1 year in Sweden, but I can still say that I'm new here because there are really many places I've not really visited. There are many places I've never been to, but moving around, I tell myself, is not really a must for me to know the place to show you. Like you see right there is the embassy for Netherlands. Now, I just want to take a quick walk up the hill onto this street to see whether you can find something interesting, whether we can find something, a bit different from other countries, In case you spot anything that you want us to talk about, kindly feel free to share on the comment section. But in the meantime, take a walk with me. Of course, I'm doing it physically for you. But now for you, on the other hand, you can just enjoy at the comfort of your home. Thanks and courtesy of me. Well, let me stop blowing my own trumpet. Well, first things you realize, actually, as I told you earlier on the previous video, Sweden is very clean, extremely clean, especially Stockholm. And you'll find, or rather notice, that there's also a lot of designated areas. You will notice there's lots and lots of cycling tracks. We have the pedestrian tracks, we have the scooter tracks. I can say it's a well-planned city. I don't know about you, or which country you come from, or which city you come from, but I must say that Sweden, rather Stockholm city, is really well planned. And like I say, it's not just that, they have also put into consideration tracks for the blind, and even there's some particular small sections in which you'll experience that those people who are disabled are able to maneuver their way, or rather maneuver around the city. It's not just that. There was a section, I think I'll need to show you on my next video, probably if I get a chance. There's a section at Drottninggatan Street in which it actually has some nice little metallic pieces which have been actually embedded onto the ground, and the people who are blind can actually, I don't know how you call that, blind stick. If there's a particular professional name, let me know in the comment section. You can actually knock and find your way. You're able to know the place you are supposed to stop at, the place you're supposed to wait for the zebra crossing. I think they've really put into consideration people who live with disability. And you can see around, in case someone is using a wheelchair, It's very easy to move around, well marked areas, and people really respect that, like the place I'm actually walking around. The cars are not supposed to drive across. In case you see that van right in front there, it's because it's loading something, probably loading some supplies to the restaurant. It's actually allowed to load. And sometimes you'll find some of these sections will allow the police cars or the police vehicles to pass across. And it's not just that. You will also notice that it is a city that is really well marked. It has so many marks that are well observed by all the motorists and all the road users, and I think it's something that's beautiful. Now on the left side you can see lots and lots of bicycles, just like in Netherlands. In case you've visited Netherlands, you'll notice that it's a cycling nation. I can say Sweden is also following suit. There's so many people in this country who cycle. And I have to point out something about cycling in Sweden. It's not just about the young people who are cycling. We are talking about different age groups, starting from kids moving all the way to the older people. And it's not just about gender. It's not just boys or men who are cycling. No, I'm talking about girls. I'm talking about men, people who choose to identify the way they want to identify with. When it comes to cycling, it's almost another culture here. And it's not just that. We also have so many park zones for the bicycles, like right where we live, like where I work at, we have a specific spot whereby all the bicycles can be parked. You just go, walk in there, lock your bicycle and go away. Same thing with the residential areas. Each and every residential area has a place for the parking of the bicycles. Now let me just go upstairs here. I want to see if I can get something interesting, probably. Well, there is apparently one of the largest mosques that we have here in Stockholm. But then just before that, let me take a quick look on what we have down there where we came from. That's how it looks like from the ground section. And right there where the flag is a Marx store. You can find your burgers and stuff like that. If you're a big fan of burgers and fries, fast foods, you can find them at the Marx or the McDonald's. Oh yes, talk about McDonald's and Marx. You find that these are some of the fast food joints that we have in Stockholm. And it's not a high-end thing, Back in Africa, when someone says they're going to the McDonald's, the KFC, it's almost a bougie kind of thing. Here in Stockholm, no, that's a fast food. It's not a place you go for fine dining, It's just grab your stuff and go. Well, let me not digress. Right in front of us is actually one of the largest mosques that we have here in Stockholm. Right there. You can see it's quite big. I think when you go, I'm just actually looking at it from the side view. I don't think that was the entry part, or rather the main entry part. As I told you earlier on my previous video, Sweden has really tried to preserve nature. And there's something interesting here. Guess what this is? This is a dog park. Guys, basically this is the first time I've seen a dog park. I've never seen this in Kenya, in my country. So you can see how people really treasure animals here. And by the way, when you watch some of my previous videos, you notice in one or another people love dogs in this country. They will take care of their dogs. During winter they will make sure they dress up their dogs, even throw a blanket on them, just so that they don't get so cold. So this is a place some dogs will come, or rather the owners of their dogs will bring their dogs here for training. It's a small little area, and I can say it's interesting to find a dog park. Well, now I'm just right below at the Max place. I think I'll take a small short break, get myself a burger and maybe some cold drink before I move on. But before that, as I told you earlier on, is that Sweden really embraces a lot of how do you put it? It embraces a lot of consideration to the nature, and also finding a way of planning. Like the city is well planned, there are parks there, and I'm talking about well maintained parks. Having a park is one thing, but maintaining it is another. Trust me, all the parks I've been to in Sweden, they are all well maintained. Now I've seen that guy, and it brought me something to talk about. I think all of you saw the guy who was just with a stroller and a child. There's something interesting about Sweden's culture. You will find that it's not very uncommon to find guys walking around carrying babies, or rather having the babies on the stroller. It's very, very common here. There's a lot of I'm looking for the right word. There's a lot of equality in this country, in the sense that when it comes to even simple things like having a maternity leave, you'll find that guys are equally given the same number of days for having a paternity leave. Let's assume a guy has a wife and the wife gives birth. I'm sure the wife is usually given a minimum of 90 days to have the maternity leave, and a maximum of around 240 days or so. Like you can see, that guy is having his child, on the stroller, and just taking his time walking on the street. Chances are probably he's on a paternity leave. Guys are also given the same number of days, a minimum of 90 days and a maximum of 240 days. That basically it means that is like the work number of days. I'm giving it almost a year, because when you look at it this way, 240 days is almost equivalent, or rather near 365 days. So that means the guys are having almost the same number of days as women. And I think it's really interesting. I think Kenyan guys should hear this. You can imagine having a husband who is having a paternity leave for almost 1 year, just at home taking care of the child. Now the question is, this is a question to all the African guys. If you are given the paternity leave, will you stay at home and take care of the child as your wife is going back to work? In case you're watching this and you're from Africa, or you're from any country that does not subscribe to this kind of culture, just kindly comment your views, because I feel like this is something that I would like to hear from guys from other parts of the world. In Sweden, it's very normal, by the way. In Sweden, it's very normal for guys to take the leave, take care of the children as the woman is going to work. Sometimes they can even alternate. For example, if the wife took the maternity leave after giving birth, and she took care of the child up to maybe 1 year, goes back to work, then the husband can basically take the paternity leave. Take another 1 year, that means the kid will be getting into 2 years, yeah? By 2 years, that kid will be taken to the baby care. Because one thing you have to know also, in Sweden, in case you're coming here and you have a family, it's not like in Africa whereby you just pick any relative and you say, oh, they're staying with your kids at home. No. You have to really have plans in terms of who is going to take care of this child when you're going to work, And there's the issue whereby you have to really, really plan ahead, and you have to also put into consideration that you have to pay for the baby care, when the kid is 2 years old, moving forward. So in case you're relocating to Sweden and you have young children, put that into consideration. It's not a place which you'll easily get house helps. I know in Kenya, I know in Africa. Basically, I'll talk about Kenya because I'm from there. It's very easy to just even post on Facebook, I'm looking for a house help, or you can even tell your relatives, your friends, I'm looking for a girl, a house help who can come, stay with me, take care of my children. As I'm going to work, I'm going to pay him or her this and this amount of money. In Sweden, it's totally different. In case you're planning to come here, you have children, that's something that you have to put in mind. You're going to pay so much just to have someone to take care of your children, and that is if they're coming on a daily basis. And life is not cheap here. Life is very expensive in Sweden, So in case you have a job here, then the better. In case you have those plans set and you're planning to take them to the baby care, it's okay. But you just have to know that you're going to really spend good money. Well, enough of that. I think that's a huge topic that we might probably share on another video. I might call in experts, or I might do some research before I do another video based on relocation to Sweden. If you're interested to hear a lot of information about that, just kindly comment on the comment section on this video, especially issues concerning migrating to Sweden with a family. It could be migrating because of studies, because of work, because of marriage, whichever way you want, Putting that aside, personally, I migrated. I came here because of work, and life is good, It's just that it has its own challenges, which I might share, especially the ones which are not too personal, and give some advices for anyone who wants to take that direction, because you realize when you're relocating to another country, you have to know that you're basically packing your life in 2 or 3 suitcases and starting a new life. Trust me, that's not easy. It's not easy at all. I'm talking about forgetting each and every thing that you left behind, because you're basically starting from scratch. So you must really plan ahead. You must really, really embrace the fact that you're going to start a new life. It doesn't matter how old you are. You have to figure out that you are starting afresh, and the moment you realize that, then I think you'll not have a big problem. Well, we have a nice interesting sculpture here. It's like a horse kind of. I can't really read that because most of the wordings are in Swedish, but as we move by, I think earlier on I mentioned issues about relocation. Yes, let me just get back. Sorry, I keep on moving around and changing the topic. I hope you really don't mind. I'm also panting at the same time because of working and talking at the same time. It's not easy, trust me, guys. Well, guys, so now when it comes to relocation to Sweden, there are different ways in which you can relocate here. There are many people who've come here through study. Maybe you've applied to do some postgraduate degree. Maybe you've come here just as a young person. Maybe you want to do your degree. The first thing you have to do is get an admission from the university. The moment you get the admission from the university, that's the time you can apply for a residency permit. So basically, you'll be getting a residency permit through study, and you can come here. Then the rest, you can get the details as time go by. That's one way. Another way is if you're coming here through work, for example. If you're coming here through work, you must get a work offer and a work contract, specifying how much you're supposed to be paid and the kind of contract you're having. It must be a permanent contract to start with, not temporary, or rather it can be a temporary renewable kind of contract, which is renewed after every year. Now, once you have that, that's what you can use to apply for a residency permit. The reason why I insist on a residency permit is that any person who is coming to Sweden and is planning to stay for more than 3 months, basically you must have a residency permit, because if you're just coming to visit, there's no problem. If you're coming to visit and you'll be staying for less than 3 months, well and good, you just get a tourist visa and that's it. Well, I'll give you more info about location probably on one of the sitting up videos, but in the meantime, I just really, really hope that you enjoy the content that I'm creating. I'm just finding what I can offer you guys, because there have been so many questions on life in Sweden, how people relocate, the logistics, the requirements, even the questions that you're asked for you to get the residence permit, because I know the visa journey is never easy, not in any embassy. So there are different things they look at. They also look at finances, many things, and I think I can put that together and have another video. If you think that would be really helpful, kindly let me know. In the meantime, enjoy, guys. Cheers, and thanks so much for the watch.